Welcome to Base Coverage. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for supporting to the show. Don't forget to subscribe here, drop a comment, like a video, share with a friend. We cover ELF ball and we gotta keep this thing going.
We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta toss them out. I'm really biting, they just barking out. I'm really riding, they just parking now. His street, what to talk about. See the big eight.
Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Base Coverage. I'm your host, Jamal Clay, and thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in and continuing to support the movement we got going on here. So on today's show of Base Coverage, we're going to dive a little bit into some signings. I won't do all of them. I'll say that for the guys on ELF Live who have done a great job with that show so far, and Nick Alfieri, and our guy Silas Nicita. I've enjoyed watching those shows, and I'm gonna keep tuning in, and you should as well.
If you're seeing this Insta story, I would like to officially invite you to be an early tester on my app that I've been making with my brother. It's called Quiver, and the goal of it is to start interesting conversations that you wouldn't otherwise be having. So how it works is every single day, there's a prompt that goes out to all users, and you can't see other people's answers to the prompt until you answer it yourself. So once you answer it, then you enter it into the timeline, and you can interact and comment on everybody's responses to the prompt. 24 hours later, there's a new question, a new prompt, and a new conversation. It's really fun little social media. It's not like Twitter or Instagram that sucks you in for hours. You check it a couple times a day. It makes you kind of reflect on your life and your opinions and stuff like that. And it's been very fun so far. Like I said, we are early on in the process, so we're working through some bugs and kinks and stuff like that, but it does totally work. It's totally functional right now. So we would like to invite you to get on there, make a profile, follow me on Quiver. I'm going to be following back the first chunk of people that get on here and become early testers. It's been very fun so far.
The first team I want to go to, and the team that I want to kind of break down a little bit. Let's check in with the Paris Musketeers. All right, if I'm a fan of the Paris Musketeers, how should I feel about the team thus far? Well, one thing you should know is that it's going to be a busy summer in Paris. A busy summer in Paris. The City of Lights, not only are they having a great offseason and, they're strengthening their team, but they got the Olympics. All right. And so it's going to be hard to get in and out of Paris this summer, but it's going to be a busy summer in the City of Lights. Now, this was a team who ended the season strong, and in the offseason, they've just been building off that momentum, right? They're riding a 4-game win streak coming into the offseason, all right? And some of the things that I've liked that they've done was, they went and they got the homegrown talent, right? They went and signed in some of their top signings, right? Maceo Beard, Defensive Player of the Year, defensive back formerly of the Helvetic Guards, receiver Anthony Mahungu, right? Coming off an ELF championship for the Ryan Fire. We got Thomas Felicia, O-lineman, played for the Rush Walk Panthers, went to the Milano Seamen. Now he's going back home. All right. You got Jordan Vesey, right? Defensive end, University of Buffalo. Kevin Mwamba, tight end, playing for the Frankfurt Galaxy. They went and they were aggressive, bringing homegrown guys back to Paris. And I think that was a little bit of what we thought they were going to look like last year and their strategy last year. But they put all their chips to the table, and they brought guys back home. Now, some of the other signings that I like in terms of imports, so to say, one of the guys who's been an ELF All-Star since the beginning of this thing, Lewis Thomas, offensive guard, right? Getting someone to help protect, the interior of that offensive line, right? Zach Edwards was sacked, I want to say like 51, 52 times last year, right? Now, although, they're losing one of the top offensive tackles in Keanu Ebanks, they're bringing in Thomas to replace that, but they're also strengthening the interior by bringing in a Lewis Thomas. So, protecting your quarterback is going to be key, and they're doing whatever they could to make sure Zach has a clean jersey, right? Another thing they went out and did was get one of the top GFL receivers, probably the top GFL receiver in Austin Mitchell last year, who racked up over 1,600 plus yards and receiving and 20 touchdowns. Now, this is someone that Paris fan base you should be excited about, because this guy's coming in and he doesn't even have to be your number one guy because of the signing of Anthony Mahungu. Last year, having the Kyle Sweet, he was kind of your number one, followed by Remy Bertolin in the two slot. But Austin Mitchell, as dynamic and quick and explosive as he is, and he not be your number one, that means he's gonna get a lot of favorable matchups because you can't double team him and then leave Anthony Mahungu one-on-one. And then because Anthony's gonna dog a lot of DBs in this league. So what do? Right? And then Austin Mitchell is a matchup nightmare. So a lot of defensive coordinators are gonna have to worry about how they're gonna scheme up Paris, right? If Zach could find a way to, if that offensive line and Zach could keep Zach clean and not take so many sacks, and he could get the ball out quick, this offense has potential to be explosive. So Austin Mitchell was definitely one of my favorite signings, not just because of the player he is, but because of the situation he's walking into. Like again, he doesn't have to be the guy. He has other playmakers around him that are gonna expand and grow and make this offense more explosive. I'm excited to see what this Paris offense looks like heading into year 4. Now on the defensive side, I think there's still some questions. And maybe they're not done. Maybe like Barcelona, they just haven't announced their guys yet. All right. But where do they go? What do they do? DB is still a question. Even though you sign Monsieur Beard, you bring back Amir Khan. What are you going to do with that other slot? Are you going to bring back a David Rich for the other cornerback to match up with these guys? Right? Are you going to still sign 2 A's at corner and just strengthen your secondary? Because that was the biggest question for the defense last year, right? So how they build this defense is going to be the biggest question, and may determine their success, especially with the West and the division that they're in, right? You got the Fire ELF Championship, you got the Frankfurt Galaxy, who are going to be, who they are. Madrid's made a lot of noise. Hamburg's looking to bounce back, right? And then you got the Cologne Centurion. So I would say right now you could probably rank them 3, 4, maybe 5, maybe challenging Frankfurt for that 2 spot in the West, but we're going to find that out early in the season. But the defense is going to determine the success of the team if the offense could do, what they're capable and reaching their potential. Now, if you look at their schedule, as I mentioned, we're going to find out quick how good this Paris team is, right? Because when you look at their schedule, and although they got the bye week 1, those first 3 weeks in June are going to get a little challenging. You got the bye, and then you got the Hamburg Sea Devils, and then as I mentioned, you got the Frankfurt Galaxy, and then you play the Fire. So right off the bat, how good are you, Paris? Right off the bat, we're going to find out within that first quarter of the season. Remember, first quarter equals those first 4 games. Within that first quarter of the season, we're going to find out how good the Paris Musketeers are capable of being, right? That's not going to make your season, but you're definitely going to be challenged. And good. They should be. They should be challenged. And I think this team's going to have a great season potentially, but that's how it looks on paper. You still got to play the game, right? So if I'm a fan of the Paris Musketeers, how should I feel? To be honest, I think you should feel excited. Reason why you should feel excited is because I think this year's Paris team is going to succeed year 1's expectations, right? You should be excited for Paris going into this year's ELF season, because I think they're going to surpass year 1's expectations of who we thought Paris was. Remember last year they got off to a bad start. They didn't really start gelling till the middle of the season, but this year, and the continuity and the guys that they're bringing back, right? And a lot of homegrowns have come back to strengthen this team. I think they're going to surpass year 1's expectations. And do they win the West? I don't know. I'm not going to jump to that conclusion right now, but if I'm a fan of the Paris Musketeers, how you should feel excited and anxious for the season to get started.
Hard work, they don't know about it. Hard work, they don't know about it. Hard work, they don't know about it. Animal.